Now, for all of us that are overzealous, we want to make progress in our careers, but it's not always easy to study further, have a full-time job, and manage a family at the same time. So how do you make it all work? To discuss this further, we're joined by Atelisha Harilal, Head of Marketing and Recruitment at education institution Stadio. Atelisha, good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for joining us. I have confessed my sins in that I was overzealous, and this was last year, and I flunked, literally dropped out of the first semester purely because, one, if you don't have your planning in place, your study material, and you stick to a study plan, you are going to be caught out when the assignments are due or the exam comes along. Good afternoon to you. Just tell us, just briefly, how to prepare psychologically if you want to study further beyond your undergrad studies.
Well, I think the first thing is that you say it so rightly. We often underestimate the challenge that we will face once we get into our studies. And the key thing for me is prepare. Prepare your work. So let HR and your line manager know that you are attempting to study so your time accommodation can be soothed. Let your family know, those superheroes, those moms out there who attempt their MBA while they're being moms and working full time. Wow, hats off to you, because you need the support of family. You need them to understand that your time demands will be slightly different for the period of your studies. So I think letting everyone around you know so they can support you is key. And I think taking charge of your study from day one, reading the study guides, knowing the demands that are going to come upon you in the academic year are key to ensuring you will be successful.
Yes, and also maybe to take on less work, especially when it comes to the number of modules, not to take the maximum, for example, in the first semester, first year, because that in itself is, one, unrealistic, and secondly, it's just going to put unnecessary pressure on the rest of your life.
Absolutely. I think it's so easy to say, oh no, I will make the time, or I'll take the time off work. And then, as we know, things happen. There's no running certainties. So it's key to note how many credits is the module worth? What type of notional hours, which means time from your part, is it demanding of you before you say, I'm going for the full credit load? Actually look at what is manageable, what is allowed and encouraged by the academic institution, and take on only what time implication you have available to complete those modules.
Yeah, and maybe what we should have started with is the reason behind studying further, because it's not necessarily just being a perpetual student. I mean, information is important, self-actualization, developing a new skill, and, it also increases your career prospects. But the reasons behind studying shouldn't just be because you have a need of accumulating another degree or another certificate.
I think a couple of things are important, but the primary thing is self-actualization. Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be? And how do you move towards that career goal, life goal, knowledge goal? And the world of knowledge and technology is changing so much every day that besides formal postgraduate qualifications, we also want to add to our skill set. We want to make sure we're that most attractive prospect for the corner office, for promotion. So why you study is really pivotal and will give you the fire and the passion to actually succeed in your studies.
Yeah, and if truth be told, I mean, you can make time if your why is big enough, if it's something that you have the hunger for it, you'll make the necessary sacrifices, because there are distractions. It's easier to maybe scroll on social media or go have a chat over the phone with your sibling or whatever. If you just put the time and dedication into it, you can achieve your goals.
Absolutely. I think we kill time on social media because it's an easy adrenaline, easy distraction, but it's important that we make that time available for our goals. And grit or perseverance when it comes to adult learning is key to your success. It's not getting in, but it's also being able to stay in through the challenges and restart. Oftentimes you'll get a student who'll start and then, for example, have a challenge in one module and decide, okay, this is not for me. But that's not the way to proceed. Staying in the game, restarting, giving yourself the chance to try, and having that grit, that persistence, that fire in your belly that you are going to do this, you are going to be doctor, you are going to have that MBA is key.
Yes, and having all of those in place will give you a sense of comfort that you are in charge, in control, and you know what the ultimate outcome will be. Just looking at the choice of career, we are in the digital technological age, the age of the things of all things of the internet, AI, etc. So if you haven't studied in a long time and you want to get into the space and you're not techno-savvy, are there bridging courses or, something that can act as a springboard for you to get to your ultimate goal?
I think it's important to go with courage into all things, just first and foremost, that you are taking on this challenge and you will probably be forced to learn. And I use myself as an example. When I went to university, I had never used a PC before. So I had to learn in the lands of UKZN how to type an assignment. And for students returning to the classroom now, they'll often encounter VLA or virtual learning systems which are there to assist them and support them on their learning journey. But it's important that they choose somewhere or an institution which they can access support, either by a ticketing system or by actually getting on the phone and speaking to someone, so that they start to get onto these tech platforms, because the way you learn is almost as important to what you learn.
Absolutely.
Because familiarizing yourselves.
Yes, I'm afraid we're out of time, but thank you indeed for chatting to us this afternoon, and I hope we've inspired and encouraged so many other people that have been putting off studying further, for them to pick themselves by the bootstraps and get it done eventually. Thank you so much for your time.